And when it comes to predicting whether or not a customer is going to renew in 3, 6, 9, or 12 months, it can be very, very difficult to have any level of confidence if you don't have a repeatable system to know where people should be. And that's the way that most customer success organizations function today. It wasn't until my daughter was born. It was one Sunday morning, and I was reading the paper. I happened to read an article about a woman who went back to grad school after having children and then got into consulting with one of the major consulting firms. To put it down, and I remember specifically just looking around, my daughter was about 3, 4 weeks old in the little playpen taking a nap, and I looked over at her and I immediately knew that I was gonna have to do an awful lot more to provide the life that I wanted for my daughter, my wife, and I, and we wanted to have more kids down the line, right? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was not ready at that point until that happened. I literally was just kind of going through the motions on a daily basis. That moment though was a switch. That flipped everything. And I applied to grad school immediately following, like within a week or two. So for the next 2 years, I did nothing but work full-time, go to school part-time, and by the end when I graduated, I had 2 kids coming out of that too. And I got nearly a 4.0. And it was one of the most productive times of my life. And it simply was the perfect alignment of passion and, and the environment. And that's what I found. And I realized then that that's what I had to find in my work as well, which helped lead me towards customer success. So what I discovered through my time as CSM, manager, director, and ultimately VP, working myself out of the job, was that the key to predictability was having a reliable and repeatable system implemented that is executed at an exceptionally high level by you or your team. That is the single most important thing in order to deliver phenomenal customer success and ultimately predictability in your renewals and expansions. When I became VP, I had the opportunity to put in my system from scratch. So I built my system based off of my experience prior and then modified it for the environment I was in. And I put that in place, and over the course of a year, I worked myself out of the job. And I left. And I became a consultant, and then worked with clients to implement a form of my system. So my system is a framework. It can be applied to virtually any environment, and my job is to be an expert in taking my framework and my client's reality and putting those two things together to make a custom solution. So since founding Glide Consulting, I've worked with fast-growing SaaS businesses funded by some of the largest venture capital firms in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, to mid-stage companies that are in the 30, 40, $50 million ARR, annual recurring revenue, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. And components of my system have been put in place in each of these categories of companies I've worked with. Most customer success leaders will think they have to do everything themselves. By that I mean come up with the plans, build a best-in-class team, train individuals, build the onboarding, build the business reviews, do everything themselves. But the reality is you don't have to do it alone. Customer success is my entire professional life. If it didn't exist as a model, and if I hadn't had the good fortune to have lunch with a friend of mine years ago who was in a role, then I don't know quite what my life would look like today. But literally, my entire business is focused exclusively on the customer success space. My entire professional life is focused on the customer success space. And it honestly is the only place in the professional world where I feel like I fit. So as a result of being able to serve the needs of a community and having deep expertise, I'm able to provide a wonderful life for myself and my family. And for that, I'm eternally thankful. A lot of people prefer to kick the can down the road. And by that, I mean just make minor little adjustments or no adjustments and just react to what's going on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and just do the same thing over and over. Not everybody is built to push. Kicking the can down the road and saying, oh, I don't need to invest in this. I know this stuff already. I know what Nils's framework is. I've heard him talk about the 4 Ps, or I know conceptually what it is. Like, there's some people who are gonna do that. Question is, are those the people who are going to get the next job they want? Are those the people who are going to build the life that they want? Are those the people who are going to lead the teams they really want and be seen as the leader they really want to be? Right? No. The answer is no. So if you're kicking the can down the road, by all means, keep on kicking. This program is not, absolutely 100% not for you, right? But if you're dedicated to investing in yourself and know that you can't possibly have everything nailed perfectly and there's something that you can learn across the board from deep expertise in having built this, me having built this myself, as well as consulted with dozens of companies, then this is the right investment for you. And it's frankly the only customer success course that's available that is the how-to. Right? There's no theory in this. This is all practical guidance taken directly from how I have interacted with my clients who pay upwards of $25,000 plus just for one-on-one time with me. Because I know not everybody's going to pay $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 to work with me. That's okay. I will still work with those people. But what I really want to do is help more people. And that's why I created this, was to be able to share my expertise with a broader audience.